Over the years, I've shared with you the idea that reality is different in different states of consciousness, and that biology is different, perception is different, cognition is different, and the world we experience is different in different states of consciousness. I've always also shared with you that the three dominant states of consciousness that we recycle every day of our lives are waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Once in a while, we catch a glimpse of what is called Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, transcendental consciousness. And when we abide in that, then that becomes cosmic consciousness, local and non-local consciousness and identity at the same time. So in the Vedic tradition, what's beyond cosmic consciousness, which is usually referred to as Turiya Tattva. So the fourth state of consciousness is Turiya, the fifth is Turiya Tattva, the sixth, and there are seven that I'll share later, but the sixth state is called divine consciousness in Vedic philosophy. And the Sanskrit name for that is Bhagavat Chetanā. So this is a central theme in Vedic philosophy, representing one of the highest states of awareness and realization of what is called the ultimate reality. This concept is deeply rooted in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita, and is closely linked to the understanding of Atman, individual self, and Brahman, universal consciousness. Here are some key elements. First, the understanding of Chetana, which is the principle of consciousness. Chetana is the animating principle that distinguishes living beings from so-called inanimate matter. It is the fundamental mystery of the universe, described in the Vedas as the force that pervades all existence. May the force be with you, comes from, I presume, that understanding. The source of Chetana is Chaitanya, the ever-conscious Supreme Self, frequently also, by the way, symbolized in the persona of Lord Krishna. While Chetana is the ray of consciousness experienced by individuals, Chaitanya is the self-illuminated, immutable reality. And this is where Brahman and Atman come in, the universal and individual self. Brahman is the absolute, infinite, and formless reality that underlies all creation. It is described as existence and bliss and as consciousness. Atman is the individual self or soul, considered a spark or a reflection of Brahman. The Upanishads declare the essential unity of Atman and Brahman encapsulated in the Mahavakya, great saying, Tattvamasi, you are that, thou art that. Realizing this unity is the essence of divine consciousness, which is the awareness that one's true self is not separate from the ultimate reality. Divine consciousness is a state of elevated awareness where one perceives the presence of divine in all things and recognizes the interconnectedness of all existence. This state transcends the dualities of the material world and is characterized by spiritual enlightenment, unity, and bliss. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches that the universe is a manifestation of cosmic consciousness, and that realizing the relationship between the individual soul and the Supreme Soul, Paramatman, the individual soul is Atman, universal soul, Paramatman, leads to liberation and freedom from suffering, called moksha. So once again, Chetana is individual consciousness, the animating principle in living beings. Chaitanya is the supreme, ever conscious self, source of all consciousness, individual minds and individual knowers and individual modes of knowing. Brahman is the absolute infinite reality, universal consciousness, source and substance of the universe. Atman is the individual soul or self, reflecting Brahman, the true essence of being. And Bhagavat Chetanā, divine or God consciousness, is the realization of unity with the Supreme, and it's the ultimate goal of spiritual practice. Now, the pathways to divine consciousness include yoga and meditation, and these practices help transcend the limitations of mind and body, leading to the direct experience of the self as pure consciousness. Also, bhakti, devotion, loving devotion to the Supreme is emphasized as a means to attain divine consciousness, where the devotee's mind is absorbed exclusively in divine presence. And jnana, knowledge, self-inquiry and contemplation on the teachings of the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita reveal the non-dual nature of reality and the unity of Atman and Brahman. This has immense philosophical implications. One is unity in diversity. Despite the apparent multiplicity in the universe, all beings and phenomena are expressions of the same divine consciousness. Transcendence of Maya. The material world is seen as Maya, illusion. Realizing divine consciousness means seeing beyond all illusion to the underlying reality. And finally, liberation or moksha. The ultimate goal is liberation from the cycle of birth and death, which simply means from recycling of the conditioned self and the evolution of the conditioned self into the creative self. And this is achieved through the realization of one's true nature as divine consciousness. So, can we live from this level? To live from the level of divine consciousness or Bhagavat Chetanā means embodying the awareness of your unity with the universal self in every aspect of life. This is not a philosophical ideal, but a practical, transforming way. So here are some key principles and practices drawn from Vedic wisdom to help you live from this elevated state of awareness. Number 1, cultivate inner silence and meditation. Daily meditation. Set aside each day for meditation. Focus on your breath. You could repeat a mantra such as Om or Soham, or simply observe your thoughts without attachment. This practice quiets the mind and allows you to experience your true self beyond thoughts and emotions. Embrace silence. Practice periods of silence. In Sanskrit, this is called Maun Vrat, fasting from speech, to foster inner stillness and deepen your connection to the divine presence within. Also then, practice self-inquiry and mindfulness. Ask yourself regularly, who am I? Or am I my thoughts and emotions, or the observer of them? This shifts your identity from the transient to the eternal self. And of course, mindful living. Be fully present in everyday activities, walking, eating, listening, treating each moment as sacred. This brings the awareness of Atman to all actions. Live with compassion and non-attachment. See the divine in all. Recognize that the same divine presence exists in everyone. Approach others with compassion, respect, and kindness, dissolving judgment and separation. Non-attachment. Perform your duties, karma, without attachment to outcomes. Offer the results of your actions to the divine, acting selflessly and with humility. Align with dharma, selfless service. Follow dharma. Live in accordance with your higher purpose and the natural order, which is dharma. This means acting with integrity, responsibility, and respect for all beings. Engage in seva, selfless service, serving others without expectation of reward, seeing service as an expression of your unity with all life. And of course, then surrender to the divine, which is spiritual surrender, letting go of the need to control outcomes, trusting in the wisdom of the divine, surrendering your ego and personal desires. This brings peace and freedom from worry. Chanting and devotion. Use devotional practices such as chanting mantras, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or engaging in Bhakti Yoga to cultivate love and surrender. Also, integration of wisdom through study and contemplation. Contemplating sacred teachings, reflect on the teachings of the Vedas, Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. Contemplation deepens understanding and helps integrate spiritual wisdom into daily life. Regular study, which is also called swadhyaya, self-study. Read and contemplate not only spiritual texts to reinforce your awareness of self and the unity of all existence, but learn to read yourself, every aspect of yourself, mind, body, and extended self, the environment. Balance and equanimity are needed. So one needs to remain centered in all circumstances, pleasure or pain, praise or criticism. No matter what, remain balanced and centered in your true self. This equanimity is a hallmark of living from divine consciousness. And of course, gratitude and acceptance. Practice gratitude for all experiences, seeing them as opportunities for growth and realization. Okay, so in summary, meditation, self-inquiry, mindful living, compassion and non-attachment, dharma and seva, surrender and devotion, study and contemplation, equanimity and gratitude. So there you are. One final practice. Look at any object. I'm holding a key right now. And replace the word object with the word experience. And then note that that experience is a perceptual activity happening in you. So that perceptual activity is a modified form of you, the infinite divine. The modification is perceptual activity, and then the construct is, this is a key, a material object. But actually, it is divine presence, because without awareness, there's no perception. Without perception, there is no so-called object, but the object is a fragmented aspect of yourself. When you learn to see the divine in every object of experience, that is divine consciousness, and that also is the realm of miracles, and you can enter it. So far I've shared with you, the various means of entering it, but then once you enter it, it opens the window to what are called supernormal abilities, miracles, or non-local dormant potentials that exist in all of us. Extrasensory perception, knowing the past and future, knowing the fundamental nature of existence, and psychic abilities, and actually much, much more. Freedom from the notions or the human constructs of birth and death. I am putting out a course on this. Check it out on deepakchopra.com. It's a course for advanced meditation practices, and feel free to share this video with others and give me your feedback as well. Stay in divine consciousness. That's the key.